Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. ASEAN families, I hope you're doing well this morning. It's a bit of a drizzly and gloomy morning, but surprisingly it's still warm. It's not that cold. In any case, today's verse is in Surah Baqarah, Surah number 2, verse number 72. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قتلتم نفسا فادارأتم فيها. And remember, when you killed a person and then disputed about it, which means you blamed one another about it. وَاللَّهُ مُخْرِجٌ مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْتُمُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bring forth that which you have been hiding. So what happened was, there was a murder committed in the Bani Israel. And after the murder was committed, the person who committed the murder and some of his family members or supporters, what they did was they took the body and they threw it by another tribe. And the next morning, people saw a dead body by this tribe. They started to blame them. Musa alayhi salam was brought forward. He tried to investigate, and naturally the murderer and his family, they started creating a lot of confusion and chaos, and they started to blame the wrong people. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa alayhi salam that take the bone of a cow and strike the deceased body, and when you do that, he will reveal who the murderer was. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a very simple instruction: find any bone of a cow or whatever, the femur bone, and just strike him, and that's it. But the Bani Israel made this so difficult on Musa alayhi salam, and that in itself is a journey that's already been documented inside the Quran. Finally, after a long, arduous, difficult journey, they're able to get that bone, strike him, and they found out who the actual murderer was. Now in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to teach us two things here, two main messages. But one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us about the realities of life in this world. And that is that sometimes injustices will happen. They will happen to you. And when injustices do happen, sometimes you will find justice. The perpetrators will be brought to justice. But there will be many times in which that will not happen. And we as human beings, we must accept that. Right? We must accept that there will be times where we will be wronged, and no justice will happen. Nothing will come of it, and we can do nothing about it. And we just pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And other times, we might find justice, but the road and the path leading to that may be a very, very long, arduous, and a difficult one. And no matter what situation, we find ourselves in, whether we find that justice or not, which leads to the second point: all roads must lead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here, this is the example of the Bani Israel that was given. And what happened to them? What did they do? If you look at the verse next to it, ثُمَّ قَصَتْ قُلُوبُكُم مِّن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ فَهِيَ كَالْحِجَارَةِ. Their hearts became hard like a rock. And even though, this type of situation, when you suffer this type of injustice, it should bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it didn't. It made their hearts even harder and made further away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for a believer, we must be realistic, not idealistic, about the realities of life in this earth, about life in this world, in this dunya. That sometimes we will have justice, but many times we will not. But no matter what situation we are in, whether we find the justice or we don't, or it comes at a very, very late stage, we must always turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always. Every situation a believer is in should always lead him to be closer to Allah, never further away. And if it does lead you further away, you're doing something wrong. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable all of us to stay on the right path, to be May Allah give us the strength to be patient and not do the wrong, and not take the wrong course of action in these types of scenarios. And may Allah always shower us with His blessing and His mercy. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.